back to the Funny Thing Is podcast. I'm your host, Nicole Birch, where every week we bring you a guest who shares a life-changing experience, the medicine they took to get better, and the funniest lesson they learned along the way. Today is another solo episode, and we're going to be talking about everything Nurse Rachel. So I've gotten so many questions about asking how it started, where's it going, what's happening, and today we're going to answer all of those. Okay, so Nurse Rachel is one of the characters that I do. She's a Southern, has a thick Southern accent. It's just me with a ponytail and thick framed glasses. And she's been a nurse. I always say that she's from Sallisaw, Oklahoma. That's because I was engaged to a guy from Sallisaw and I absolutely love that city. So she became popular. I posted, I think this was 2 July 4th ago. So a little over 2 years ago. I posted in my scrubs a video in my car where I talked about the craziest things that have happened inside my ER, inside of a fake ER. And it was all made up stories, or I found them on headlines or something like that. And it did pretty well. I think at the time we're going to go off Instagram numbers. I think at the time I had 37,000 followers. Okay. After that video, I think I bumped up to 50, and I had been stuck at 37 for like 2 years. So I was like, ooh, okay, there might be something here. And for probably 6 months, I was just putting out content where it was just my face and I was telling stories. Like, this is what happened when I'm a travel nurse, and this is what happened when I was in Florida. And there was like a 3-part series for Florida and a 3-part series for Georgia and a 3-part series for New York. So those did okay, but I wasn't really growing that much. Again, I think I was hovering around 50, 55,000. And then I posted my very first X-ray video where there's an X-ray behind me and I'm going over it. And I believe it was the penile shaft one, which is probably pinned on all of my socials, I think, as of right now. It has 12 million views on Instagram, I think. But it was one where you see 9 screws that are lodged inside of a man's penile shaft. And then I told this story about how his wife found out he was cheating. She got him really drunk, slipped him 9 Benadryl. He was passed out. He wakes up, peeing blood, can't figure it out, does the X-ray. We see this. That's absolutely assault. So she goes to jail, but he waits for her. And now they've just celebrated their 17th wedding anniversary. I tell that story, and I will say this. When you send me X-rays, thank you so, so much. I will not post anything if it's a minor. If it's somebody under 18, I'm not going to post it. If somebody died, you guys send me a lot, and you guys gleefully talk about how this person died, and I'm not posting those. If it's sexual assault, which, by the way, the penile shaft absolutely is, and I'll get to that in a minute. And then lastly, if they were having a mental breakdown or some type of mental instability, if they did not pass the psych eval during the case study, and I don't want to post it. Most of the stuff I get is from medical journals, or they've already been made public, like on ABC News or CNN has posted it or something like that. So when people say, are you breaking HIPAA violations? No, I'm not giving out any information that hasn't already been made public. The one with the penile shaft is a completely made up story. So that's the only way that I let that still live. And I do talk about how she goes to jail. So that, because she should, if somebody ever did that. But that, again, once I did that, I realized, I think I went from 55,000 to 110,000 in 2 days. So I doubled my following from one X-ray video. And I was like, oh, buddy, we might have something. And so now I'm like almost at, I think, 300,000 2 years later. I'm mostly sharing those numbers with you so that as a content creator, you can kind of see how it goes. But then there's people like, if you watch Chit, right? This new character, I think he's only been making content for like 2 months. And holy God, every video has 10 million views, And that, like, I would say is more of an overnight success, where this has been more of a slow burn and is probably more likely, right? That these slowly grow. And now she has, Nurse Rachel has her own merch. You can go to NicoleComedy.com. You can go to the Birch merch store. And I will say Nurse Rachel sells so much more than any of my own stuff. And I've started taking her on tour. So my first big show, we started doing it on the East Coast part of the tour. So like July, August. And I would do 30 minutes as Nicole Birch. I'd get off, I'd go change into the scrubs, I'd come out, and I have tangible like x-rays that I hold up, poster board size x-rays, and we go over them. And you can tell, like, once I got to Connecticut, we were doing a show in Stamford, and you could tell people were like clapping, like, oh yeah, Nicole's funny. Okay, let's get Nurse Rachel. Come on, let's get, like, they were there to see Nurse Rachel. So now I've realized I think I'm going to have to do just 60 minutes, 45 minutes of Nurse Rachel content and change it up. I've also talked to like Drew Talbert, who's been on the show. You guys know him from Bistro Huddy, him and his wife, Andrea. Again, you know, I can never say enough about them. Have been like, okay, so now it's time to expand the universe. And I was like, I don't know what that looks like. Like, do I bring my husband in? Do I like so I'm still working on that. I do know I'm expanding it in the sense of she's going to be on tour now. And people love her. And that's who they want to take pictures with, honey. And that's who they want the autograph from. Anything that is a poster or a sticker. We have all these new stickers that have Nurse Rachel on them, or hey y'all, or obviously stay out my ER is the most popular phrase. And anything that says stay out my ER is the thing that's selling like hotcakes. But it's been interesting to watch the people following her. As a creator, it's interesting because I work really hard to write and curate a set. And when people are like mildly enthused about that, but then when I tell butt jokes, oh my gosh, over the moon. I'm like, that is the easiest, which I think is funny. I think it's funny because it's like the universe, the spaghetti that hit the wall and stuck is the thing that is the easiest to write. So I could be pushing them out a lot faster than if it was just my content, right? So Nurse Rachel came about because I have a cousin named Rachel who's been an OR nurse for 20 years. I matched it with my dad's sense of humor, which is one-liners, puns, dad jokes, fart jokes. I mean, like, you know what I mean? For instance, there is an x-ray of a Yankee Candle that a man stuck in his rectum. And so the bit goes, Yankee Doodle went to town riding on a pony. No, he didn't. Not after this. If you look real close, look at that. You can still see his John Wick. And then I asked the scrub tech, honey, what time of year was this? And he goes, this was taken October 12th. And I go, October? You know, that's pumpkin spice. You know, like that kind of stuff. It's all just one-liners. It's ridiculous. And people love it. I have a new one that I haven't done on socials yet, but I do live, and it's a Buzz Lightyear doll that was inserted into a rectum. And I just say stuff like, oh, he went to infinity and beyond. Takes a lot to get that Woody, you know, like stupid shit like that. And people eat it up. And then they're like, can I take a picture of you with you holding the x-ray? I'd like to hold it. It's wild. So my cousin Rachel came to my Kansas City show with her girlfriend Lisa and her two friends, Cheryl and Leslie, who were amazing. And we all took a picture on the stage with the x-rays. So it was a full circle moment, which I had an absolute blast doing. And yeah, so that's been the interesting thing, putting her on tour, expanding the universe. The Kansas City show was awesome. And I'm excited to see where she's going to go. I think, you know, obviously I just don't want to do 45 minutes of showing x-rays. There's got to be more stories and more engagement in different ways. But I'm glad that I had the opportunity to write for that character, who is, again, if you ever heard Jason Sudeikis talk about Ted Lasso, he's the nicest version of me. I could never be that peppy and that nice. That's how I feel about Nurse Rachel. She does not judge. She just educates. This is how you stay out my ER. I'm just going to give you some words of wisdom, right? Nicole sees these x-rays. I judge so hard. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, like an entire mag light up there. What are we doing? What are you looking for? Did you lose your keys? What's happening? So, yeah, it's been a privilege having her as a character, and we're going to see where she goes next. I love that you guys send me so many things. There was that article, by the way, it was a hoax, but there was an article of a guy who was in a Walmart and stuck a cookie dough canister in his rectum, and it exploded while he was there, and he had to be rushed to the hospital. And then next to it is a photo of a comedian named Amiri King. And I was like, wait, that can't be right. You find out it's a hoax, that his friends, like, I guess they played a prank on him or something. And everybody sends that stuff to me. Or the ones where there's like a dozen eggs, which I already have that one. That's actually one of the X-rays I travel with. And it's been really interesting to see how many people love her and want to take photos with her. And it's just butt stuff. It's so much butt stuff. People, and yes, it's 96% men that do it, which is so weird because women have a much deeper prison purse. But yeah, it's usually men. They're usually just curious, and they love to say they slipped and fell on it, which is hilarious. And I thought at this point, 2 years in, probably a year and a half in with just the X-rays, I thought I'd be running out of material. Honey, I've got 6 videos I haven't even made yet this week that I have to shoot out. So it's never ending. It's almost never surprising. But it's been a lot of fun. And so I'm excited to see where Nurse Rachel's going to go next. If you guys have any questions for her directly, please email me at The Funny Thing Is Podcast for Nurse Rachel. Or there is a Nurse Rachel Facebook page you can reach out to, because that's where I get a lot of my material, or people will share their own X-rays or their own stories. It'll be like a pretty mundane X-ray, but the story behind it is crazy. I love those too, as long as nobody died, you know what I mean? And you're willing to sign off on it, that I can tell the story and tag you. Super excited to do that. And yeah. So we'll see where she goes. I'm excited to write for her. But that's everything you need to know about Nurse Rachel. And she's a little spitfire, and she does have a husband. We just posted a video. I posted a video, and I was in a construction worker's vest. I have a mustache, long hair, hat backwards. You could probably tell it was a mullet underneath. You know what I mean? And I called him Hal. And then my sister, thank God, before I confirmed that was going to be Nurse Rachel's husband, she goes, oh, well, there's already a guy named Hal the Handyman who does kids content on YouTube. He has 2.5 million followers. And I was like, and it looks just like my character in the construction worker vest. And I was like, oh no. So I already love the getup. I love what he looks like, the version that I do. So I've decided to keep him, but rename him, obviously, because I don't want to steal that guy's thing, even though it's a completely different audience. But so I think we're going to call him Frank, and he's still going to be a construction worker, but we're going to start implementing them this week and seeing how they interact with each other. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know what's next. The thing about when spaghetti hits the wall and it sticks and you have to double down on it, it's like, it's like me going from the storytelling to the X-rays, and the X-rays took off. Well, I'd also done 5 other things before the X-rays took off. So I don't know what's going to happen and how she's going to launch forward. But I do know I'm still growing a following, which is amazing. Also, if you want to book her for a corporate gig, especially Christmas time, Christmas parties we've got 2 booked at a medical school for their finals, Christmas party, finals week or whatever. So we're doing that. Anybody that's in the medical field, some people are just a fan and they've booked me for a birthday party, which is amazing. I think it's so funny that they want her X-rays at a birthday party. One of them wanted it for their 16-year-old, and I was like, I'm not doing that. That feels weird. So yeah, you can always book me. Go to my website, NicoleComedy.com, and Nurse Rachel loves the good corporate gig because, honey, they have a budget that they need to spend by the end of the year, and Nurse Rachel will take that money. She likes that money. It's a tax write-off. Just book me, But that's it. So if you guys have any questions, you can reach out, like I said, at The Funny Thing Is Podcast or the Nurse Rachel Facebook page, or NicoleComedy.com. And we will, she is a lot of fun. She's a lot of fun after a party too. After we do my set, like to mix and mingle, take pictures, autographs, stuff like that. And, people over 60, especially men over 60, love her. I don't know what it is. They're like flies to shit. You know what I mean? They just love her so much. So, yeah, that's it. I think I've answered everybody's questions on Nurse Rachel. What kind of do I post? Is it a HIPAA violation? I think we covered everything. So if you guys have any other questions, ask and I'll answer on the next solo, or contact me at NicoleComedy.com. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.